It all began with a brutal impact that silenced the arena. Caitlin Clark went flying, face first into the baseline wall, and the energy in the building flipped in an instant. Gasps filled the air, but within seconds you could hear a pin drop. Fans were frozen, players stunned. Videos of the hit exploded across social media, triggering headlines and hot takes. But behind that viral moment was a far deeper narrative. This wasn't just a collision, it was a challenge, a warning, a spark. And how Clark responded didn't just shift the game, it reminded everyone in the WNBA who they were up against. When her body hit the padding, everything stopped. It wasn't your everyday foul. It felt like a lightning strike. She had been driving hard, eyes sharp and focused, and then, bang, launched into the wall by the kind of contact that makes crowds gasp and benches rise in disbelief. But there's something that most didn't catch. This wasn't only physical, it was emotional. It was fueled by memory, because just weeks earlier, on this very same court, Caitlin Clark had made WNBA history. A rookie triple-double against the reigning champions, the New York Liberty, had stunned fans, dominated headlines, and bruised egos. So when she walked back into their house, the Liberty weren't just looking to compete, they were hunting revenge. The tone was set before the tip-off. They didn't want redemption through finesse. They wanted it through physicality. Knocking Clark into the stands. That was just their opening statement. And yet, the most shocking moment wasn't the hit. It was what came next. Clark didn't stay down. She barely flinched. No limping, no stare downs, no appeals to the referees. She got up, glanced at her bench, and strode straight to the free throw line. That quiet response, it said everything. This wasn't going to be a breakdown. It was the beginning of a statement. This wasn't your average regular season matchup. There was bad blood beneath the surface. The last time Clark and the Fever played the Liberty, she'd torched them with a historic performance, one that embarrassed them on their own turf. Now, under the lights again, the Liberty weren't just defending their record, they were defending their pride. And it showed in every possession. From the opening tip, the Liberty came with a plan, not to outplay Clark, but to wear her down. They threw full-court pressure at her, played with extra contact, set screens that felt like body checks. It wasn't subtle. Breanna Stewart's eyes rarely left her. Natasha Cloud barked like a commander on defense, directing bodies into Clark's path. It wasn't about limiting shots, it was about making her feel them, every single step of the way. But what they didn't count on was Clark's memory. She hadn't forgotten what it felt like to dominate them, and she wasn't about to forget what it felt like to get shoved into a wall either. The hit may have rattled the rim, but it didn't rattle her. Instead, Clark leaned into the chaos. As the second quarter began, the Liberty's defense tightened, shoving, bumping, swarming, but Clark adjusted. She slowed the game in her head, read their switches, and saw seams no one else did. On one play, she pulled two defenders with her and without looking, whipped a bounce pass to Aaliyah Boston that somehow sliced through an impossibly tight gap. Fifth assist, crowd buzzing, and she wasn't even hunting shots yet. Every Liberty attempt to break her rhythm, she escaped, recalibrated, delivered. Natasha Cloud ramped up the pressure and picked off a lazy Fever pass, finishing on the other end and screaming toward the crowd. But Clark's response? Immediate. She stormed the lane, drew contact, and laid in an and one that sent her message loud and clear. You can push me, you can foul me, but you won't break me. As the second quarter wound on, the Liberty's lead began to build. Stewart started to find her rhythm, knocking down jumpers. Natasha Cloud caught fire, draining back-to-back threes, intercepting passes, and letting the Fever know about every single bucket with loud, pointed gestures. It felt like the Liberty were pulling away, like Indiana was starting to break under the pressure. But Kelsey Mitchell wasn't having it. With the shot clock winding down and the Liberty crowd getting louder, she created space with a tight step back and drilled a deep three. A shot that didn't just keep the score close, but brought life back into the Fever's huddle. It was the moment Indiana needed. and Clark followed it up with brilliance. On the next play, she ran a high pick and roll with Boston, sold a hesitation dribble, and then dropped a laser pass into Boston's hands for an easy finish at the rim. That made it assist number 7, and we weren't even at halftime yet. Still, Clark wasn't done making her point. With seconds left in the half, she tried to push in transition but lost the handle. While diving to recover the ball, she fouled a Liberty player, and 2 free throws later, New York took a slim 1-point lead into halftime. But if you looked at Clark's expression, you'd see it. There was no frustration, no defeat, just focus. She'd taken every hit, absorbed every defensive look they'd thrown at her, and she still wasn't rattled. That look, it meant something big was coming. Because this wasn't just about bouncing back, it was about building toward a storm. The second half tipped off, and everything about Caitlin Clark's body language changed. She was quieter now, almost calm, but locked in like a predator waiting for the perfect moment. The Liberty were still physical, still aggressive, but Clark had seen all their tricks, and she began dissecting them with precision. Her passes were timed to perfection. A bounce pass on the move to Boston. Then a high lob off a screen. Then another assist to Hull, wide open in the corner. Each possession felt like a masterclass in vision and control. The 8th assist came quickly, then the 9th. Cloud did her best to respond. She kept driving into the lane, refusing to let the momentum slip away. But Caitlin? She wasn't blinking. New York started blitzing her with traps and throwing double teams on screens. She navigated everyone with poise. And then came the breakthrough. She found Mitchell on the wing. A quick step back, clean release. Bang! 10th assist, double digits again. But Clark wasn't just setting people up anymore. She was ready to strike. Moments later, she spun away from 2 defenders, knifed into the paint, and flipped in a crafty reverse layup. Then, with a look of complete calm, she stepped into her first deep 3 of the night. Splash. The crowd didn't just cheer, they erupted. She'd been quiet for most of the game. Now she was roaring. And just when you thought it couldn't go any higher, it did. After missing 12 straight 3-point attempts across previous games, she rose again from way beyond the arc and nailed one while drawing contact. Whistle, bucket, crowd on their feet, 4-point play. And with it, the momentum flipped completely. The Fever were in control. Even when Stewart met her at the rim and blocked a shot into the stands, a play that sent Clark crashing hard into the base of the basket, she got up, no hesitation, no complaints. Because with 5 seconds left in the third quarter, she caught the inbound, took 2 hard dribbles past half court, and launched from the logo. Pure crowd chaos. In less than a minute, she had gone from ice cold to unstoppable, and Indiana had gone from 9 down to 8 up. Clark wasn't just back, she was setting the court on fire. With the Fever leading by 8 heading into the fourth, Caitlin Clark had fully seized control of the game. But New York wasn't going down easy. On the opening possession of the final quarter, Clark fed Aaliyah Boston inside. Boston powered through contact, finished the layup, and knocked down the N1 free throw. Indiana's lead stretched to 10, but it wouldn't last long. The Liberty pushed right back. Natasha Cloud sprinted the full length of the court for a quick layup, then turned around and picked Clark's pocket on the next possession. She dished it off to Stewart, who finished at the rim. And just like that, the lead was back to 5. Then came Sabrina Ionescu. The Liberty guard sliced through Indiana's defense and kicked it out to Jonquel Jones, who buried back-to-back threes that sent the Liberty bench into a frenzy. Within minutes, Indiana's double-digit lead had vanished. Now it was time to see how the Fever would respond. Clark and Boston once again were the answer. They ran a flawless Spain pick and roll, creating just enough separation for Boston to knock down a smooth mid-range jumper. Then Clark kept it herself on the next trip down, splitting the defense and floating in a bucket through traffic. Tie game, the pace was now relentless. Every possession felt like a heavyweight bout. Make, answer, miss, steal, roar. The energy in the building was unreal. Through it all, Clark remained surgical. She didn't flail, she didn't force, she simply executed. With 10 seconds to go, Ionescu drove the lane and drew a foul. She sank both free throws, giving New York a 2-point lead with almost no time left. Indiana needed one final play. Clark got the inbound, crossed over twice, searched for space, but the ball slipped loose. No foul, no buzzer beater, just a turnover. The Liberties stormed the court in celebration, game over, but this story didn't end in defeat. Caitlin Clark didn't win the game, but she won something far more important: the respect of everyone watching. She'd taken the hardest hit of the night, physically and mentally. She'd been targeted, pressured, swarmed, and shoved into a wall, and her response wasn't revenge, it was dominance. She didn't retaliate with trash talk or tantrums, she retaliated with poise, execution, and brilliance. After crashing into the padding, she got up and delivered a performance that redefined toughness. 10 assists, key buckets, a logo 3, a 4-point play. She turned what could have been a breakdown into a breakout moment. The stat sheet was impressive, but it barely scratched the surface. Her fingerprints were on every run, every rally, every adjustment. And what the Liberties and the league learned that night is simple. You can hit Caitlin Clark, but you can't knock her out. She might go down, but when she gets back up, she doesn't just play. She takes over. This wasn't just a game, it was a message. Clark may be a rookie, but she's not here to warm the bench or play second fiddle. She's here to lead, to rise in chaos, to take the hits and hand them right back, with interest. And the WNBA? It's officially on notice. Caitlin Clark is built for these moments. Win or lose, she owns the spotlight. And this night proved it. When the game gets rough, when the court turns hostile, when the pressure is highest, she's not stepping back. She's stepping in. Harder, faster, sharper. And next time, you might want to think twice before sending her into a wall.